it wasn't that difficult to come up with the concept or the palette for the score, because it was part of this the mythology story of the X-Files, and I had a certain kind of sound for that storyline, so it really wasn't difficult to come up with a new concept. It was just executing how many hundreds of minutes of music. You know, to go from the small screen to the big screen, that was just unbelievable. I mean, this was as big as it gets. You know, polar ice cap falling into nothing, and buildings exploding, and just everything. What was kind of satisfying is Chris and Frank and everyone else involved, I don't think they knew I could do that. I think they all thought that I was just a synthesizer guy, and that was it. When they saw me, you know, conducting this 85-piece orchestra, just immediately that was cool. But also for me, fleshing out the synth stuff into a big orchestra score was fantastic. To hear that come back at you like, wow. Chris, he's never given me too much direction. I mean, obviously, when it was time to write the theme, Chris sent me stacks of CDs telling me, oh, I like the drums here, I like the vocals here, I like the guitar thing here, I like the strings here, whatever. But this one came out of left field. I mean, it took me by surprise how simple it was and how quickly it was born. I put my hand down on the keyboard and I had this effect on the piano that made this digital delay effect. So that accompaniment in the theme that goes da-ba-da-dum, all of a sudden I played these 4 notes, da-ba-da-dum, ba-da-da-ba-da-da-ba-da-da, and there was this echo delay. And I thought, boy, that's a pretty cool, simple little thing. And then it was time to come up with the melody. And I came up with the melody, I played it on the piano, and I knew, well, you can't use the piano because the piano's doing the other thing. Let's try whatever. And I went through my whole bag of tricks, of instruments and sounds, and stumbled upon this whistle thing. And God, my wife was outside, and she comes in and she says, you know, that's really cool. I mean, that is so understated and interesting and spooky. And I called Chris up, I said, get your ass back here and check this out. He did, and he really loved it. But he's such a cool customer, you know. He's not one given to big exclamatory, you know, gestures and excitement. He said, that's really good. I like that. Okay, you know, and that's as good as it gets. I had a fun intro to Rob Bowman when we were doing the series, where he sort of came off like this gunslinger coming into Dodge, you know, and he was going to be the big cheese here, the big shot. And he came in for one of the episodes, and he said, well, you know, I think this should be kind of like Rock and Roll Cops, and I don't like strings, and I want this and that and the other thing, you know. And I said, all right. And then we got into a groove together, and I would fool around with him about his sort of macho bravura. I had worked with large orchestras before that, but I wanted them to know that I just wasn't a guy with a synthesizer, that I had a real background and I could, you know, conduct and communicate with an orchestra, and, you know, that was important to me. But what was more important is that the music be good.